page. Thank you ever so much to everyone who signed the petition and to those who filled in my survey on Send Matters this summer. The level of distress that is being caused by the current system to both children and their parents is really difficult to overstate. The parents who I see in my surgeries are so distressed, and their children are so distressed. And we'll give way.
Grateful to my honourable friend for giving way. My constituent 7-year-old son has been waiting 13 months for an assessment. She's had to give up her job in order to care for him. Does my honourable friend agree with me that it has an impact not just, as you rightly say, on the children and their parents, but also on the economy as well, if we are losing people already in work?
Thank you for that intervention. I do agree, and in fact it was a matter I was going to come on to. So the distress that I see within this system is just staggering. The parents who are making decisions about taking their children to school when they strongly suspect that that school place might actually be damaging their child, but they also strongly suspect that not taking their child to school is damaging their child. It is a horrific position for parents and children to be placed in. So what I see in this system is two really big points of problem. The first point of problem is when children are seeking diagnosis in the first place, or their parents are seeking diagnosis for them. In response to my survey, I found parents who had got into thousands and sometimes tens of thousands of pounds worth of debts seeking diagnoses for their children because they were so desperate to try and get them some help. And when they then do get that EHCP, after a great fight and sometimes legal confrontation, they then often find that the support that it gives is not maintained consistently, despite schools doing their absolute best. And I've never met a teacher who didn't want to help children with special educational needs. So those parents are then incredibly distressed, and those children are struggling to stay in school. Then the second round of difficulty that I find parents have is as their children get somewhat older, they have that diagnosis that they've desperately wanted, but their teenage children's mental health goes downhill sharply. And at that point, they often find that a neurodivergent diagnosis is in fact a hindrance to getting their children the mental health support that they need. This is shocking. It is absolutely appalling that it appears to be thought on a widespread basis that autism inherently involves anxiety, and therefore children with an autism diagnosis don't need support with their mental health. But that's what I'm hearing from parents in my constituency. I spoke to one parent recently, and I could give you so many stories, but I spoke to one specific parent who explained that her son had been repeatedly missing from home, that she had referrals to CAMHS from the police, from social services and other organisations, that he is 13 years old and suicidal. There is a 2-year wait for a child's mental health assessment in my constituency, and he is not deemed to meet the threshold. This is life and death for our children. It is really, really frightening. These parents are terrified. As the Honourable Member mentioned, they can't go to work because they can't leave their children unattended. They're so frightened for them. Please, can we move forward the applications for special schools at Westfield and Flag Lane, Bath, which have been flagged previously with your predecessor? And please, can we process this as quickly as possible?
Yeah.